Hi guys, welcome back to 100% Max. So I hope you're all staying safe and well out there. So Newcastle United take on Manchester City down at the Etihad this Saturday, coming 8 o'clock kickoff for this game. And this is going to be a very interesting game as well, because we've just seen that Man City had to play in the Super Cup against Sevilla, of course, where they ended up being dragged right the way through to a penalty shootout. Eventually, Man City, of course, winning on the penalty shootout to win the Super Cup against Sevilla. But that isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that they have just had to play in Athens in a 28 plus degree heat for well over 90 minutes of football, and Pep Guardiola did not change out any of his first team players for that game. He went full strength side against Sevilla to win the Super Cup, and that is a massive bonus for us coming into this game. We've already heard, before they had to play that game, that Pep Guardiola was not very happy that this game was scheduled, of course, to be played just after they had to play that game. So, at the end of the day, we've seen it with ourselves last season. We had to play so many games within quick succession of each other. And, of course, Man City have fell foul of it this time. This game will be an 8 o'clock kick-off, however, on TNT Sport. And, of course, this will hopefully be another win in the bag for Newcastle United. But we'll talk about, of course, my thoughts on the game going into it. This is going to be a tough test for us. It's going to be a tough test for Manchester City. We've seen what this game was like last season at the Etihad. Newcastle did really well in it, unfortunately losing 2-0 in the game at the Etihad. But if you flip it to the reverse fixture at St James's Park, we were absolutely on fire in that game. And we ended up, of course, taking the lead after being 1-0 down to Man City in that game at St James's Park. And then, of course, Man City ended up finding themselves getting back into the game. The game ended 3-3 at St James's Park. So if we can see, a similar situation this time around, but with Newcastle coming away with a win instead down at the Etihad, that would be absolutely fantastic. I'd be really, really happy with that, because that'd be 2 wins in the bag for Newcastle with that absolutely fantastic opening day game against Aston Villa. Of course, boosting the confidence even more. A massive 5-1 win at St James's Park. If you haven't seen the review for that one, go check it out on the channel. Absolutely fantastic reaction to that game, and what a game it was. Man City, of course, had a fantastic start to their season as well against newly promoted Burnley, and their ex-player, of course, Vincent Kompany, who is the manager of Burnley. They ended up coming away from their game 3-0 winners. So as it stands at the minute going into, of course, this game, the Premier League table stands with Newcastle at the top of it after one game, with 4+ on goal difference. Of course, with we're scoring 5 and conceding 1. Man City, however, sit third in the league with only 3 goals scored this season so far. Going into it as well, both strikers are absolutely on fire already. Haaland scored a double against Burnley. We're seeing Isak score a double at St James's Park against Aston Villa as well. So both of them are joint top at the moment for the top goal scorer in the Premier League. Of course, only one game has played, so there is quite a while left to go on who will get the top goal scorer this season. But I think Isak is in with a very good chance if he keeps putting in the performances he put in the game against Aston Villa. And if we keep putting in the performances that we're putting against Aston Villa as well, we have a very good chance of getting back into the Champions League next season by finishing inside the top 4. And putting it out there as well, we do have a big, massive chance of challenging for the title as well if we can continue on the form that we've shown in that game against Aston Villa. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's talk about the Manchester City team going into this game. And of course, they've had a massive blow on their side. I've got to say, Man City will be without Kevin De Bruyne after he has suffered a repeat of his hamstring problems in the opening match, of course, at Burnley. We've seen him go off with a hamstring problem, and now it is being said that he will be out for possibly the rest of the season. Ruben Diaz is doubtful due to concussion protocols, but John Stones will return. And also, Bernardo Silva was left out of the squad, of course, for the game against Sevilla, with him having a fever. So maybe, he could be seen to be left out once again in this game on Saturday. With Newcastle having a full week to prepare for this game, Man City, of course, were in action, like I said, on the Wednesday just gone there. To travel to Athens to take on Sevilla, of course, eventually winning the Super Cup, like I just said. But this is going to be a very, very interesting game, and it's going to be a very fierce game between two really good sides in the Premier League, and two sides that will be battling out for the Premier League title in the years to come. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. These are definitely the two sides, Newcastle and Man City, that will be battling it out for the titles in the years to come. The last Newcastle keeper, of course, to keep a clean sheet in the Premier League against Manchester City was Steve Harper back in November of 2006 in a 0-0 draw at the Etihad. City have netted at least once in all 29 subsequent home and away meetings in this competition as well. In Newcastle, in our 19th Premier League visit to this venue, this will be, and we have lost all but two of them, both ending in draws. The sole victory, of course, came in a League Cup tie win, and Eddie Howe will be hoping to seek a halt of sequence of 14 Premier League losses since a 0-0 draw here in 2006. And since DeAndre Edlin, of course, scored a goal in September of 2018, no Newcastle player has netted here in 420 minutes of play. During that same period, City have scored 15 times against Newcastle. We last led here when Alexander Mitrovic scored the opening goal in October of 2015 as well. The ref for the game will be Rob Jones, full house last season for the Merseysider, overseeing our home victories over Chelsea, Fulham and Brighton. So hopefully he will be a good luck charm for on Saturday against Manchester City. And the Aussie Whistler will be in VAR. Jared Gillette, of course, who studied at Liverpool University, will also be attending the game by VAR. Hopefully he doesn't have to get involved too much, and hopefully Rob Jones doesn't have to get involved too much in the game and lets the game flow, because that's what we want to see as Newcastle United fans. That's what we want to see as football fans as well. I'm sure Man City fans will feel the same. We want this game to flow. We want this game to be an entertaining classic for us all to enjoy, and hopefully for us Newcastle United fans, Newcastle can come out on top and get the second win of the season, because we'll have Liverpool after this one at St James's Park. So if we can get a win in this, that would bode very, very good for going into the game against Liverpool at St James's Park. Till next time, remember to like, share, subscribe. Let us know your score predictions down in the comments below as well. I'm going to say Newcastle to come away 2-1 winners against Manchester City for this game. That is my score prediction. Let us know yours down in the comments below. Until next time, I'll see you on the next one, and how are the lads?